Can you make a decent elderberry syrup with fresh berries? Today we're going to find out. G'day there, I'm Dana from Pewakaka Valley Homestead. In the weekend we went to my parents' place and picked 2 big buckets of fresh elderberries, and today I'm going to turn them into syrup and I'm going to show you how. This recipe is all based in grams. If you have any kind of digital scale, it's really easy, just push the pounds and ounces button to make it into grams, and then you will be able to follow this recipe as well. To make this recipe with fresh berries, you're going to need 500 grams of fresh berries, 3 cups of water, about 12 grams of ground ginger root. You can use fresh ginger if you like. You'll probably need about half a cup cut up. And I use 1 teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves as well. On top of that, you're going to either need half a cup of sugar and 1 cup of honey, or 1.5 cups of honey. We prefer to use raw honey, and that is because my mother has hives, so we can get it. If at a push you can't access honey, you can use any other kind of thick liquid sugar syrup, so something like a rice syrup or something like that can be used instead. You need the really high sugar content to help preserve the syrup. You'll need a large pot to be able to take all the water and the berries so that they don't simmer over. Into your pot you add your 500 grams of fresh berries. When you first pick your berries, what you want to do is go through them and make sure you pick out the green ones. Try and avoid putting too many stalks in there, but it's okay, we will sieve it at the end. The easiest way of getting berries off of these stalks is to use a fork and to flick them off, as my kids are demonstrating here. Once you've got your berries in there, you just need to add 3 cups of water. Plus what works out to be about 2.5 tablespoons of ground ginger, or about 12 grams, plus a teaspoon of ground cloves. Now this you just need to sit onto the element and boil it together for about 20 minutes. The next thing I do is give everything a wee bit of a mash with a potato masher to try and get the most of the juice out of the berries. And then we pour it through a sieve. Then you use the back of a ladle and just squish as much of the juice through as you can. This leftover pulp we feed to the chickens. It doesn't go to waste either. You can just throw it in your compost if you prefer. Now the next thing you want to do is make sure that what you've got left is exactly 500 mils or 2 cups of liquid left. If you're a little bit shy like we are, where are we? 500 mils is there. You just top it up with a wee bit of water. Then you can return your liquid back into your pot. And this is where you add a cup of honey and half a cup of sugar, or 1.5 cups of honey. Now it doesn't have to be raw honey that you use. You can just use honey from the store. Ideally it would be organic honey. There's no point in making all this delicious stuff and then going and filling your body with goodness knows what's in the non-organic honey. As for sugar, you can choose whether to use just bog standard cane sugar. You can get organic cane sugar quite easily in most stores these days. As for sugar, you can choose whether to use just bog standard white cane sugar. You can get organic cane sugar quite easily in most stores these days. And then you return this to the pot, to the stove, and you boil it for probably about another 10 minutes, or until it's reached the consistency that you like. Sterilise your lids in a pot on the stove for 5 minutes. Then carefully pour your hot syrup into your hot jars and screw on your hot lids. Now, left as they are, these bottles will store in the fridge for about 6 months. If you want to store them longer than that, or if you want to store them on a shelf, you're going to have to water bath them. Luckily, water bathing is really, really easy. You just need a pot that is quite a bit taller than your bottles that you're using, and a metal rack to go on the bottom. Put the metal rack in the bottom of your pot, and then put the water without the bottles in there. Put the water on to boil, and as the water is getting nice and hot, then you can add your hot jars, your hot bottles into the hot water. You don't want to put hot jars into cold water or cold jars into hot water. Either way, it's going to crack the glass. So hot jars, hot water. Lower them into the hot water, bring the water up to a boil, simmer it gently for 15 minutes and then turn off the heat. Once the boiling is settled down, then you can lift your bottles out and sit them somewhere that's not freezing cold. So sit them on a folded towel or on a wooden chopping board. If you have a stone bench top or anything metal, don't sit them straight onto the cold, because again that cold shock will affect your glass. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you videos twice a week on how to grow and preserve your own food. We'll see you in the next one.